One of the biggest issues that I'm seeing with people these days is that, especially with content creation and content consistency, is that a lot of times we just don't know what to post, or we're not confident in what we are posting. So I'm going to share 3 effortless strategies for you to have more authentic content, and for it not to be such a hassle or a burden for you to be able to create it. And then a little bit later on, I'm going to actually send you all a content strategy guide just to get you started with what you can do in this new year. You can even start now with where we are in the year so that you don't have to wait for it. 3 strategies for effortless content creation. If you all do not know me, my name is Abby. I am from the great state of Georgia. I am a former physical education teacher, and I have fell into creating digital media content, specifically helping businesses and entrepreneurs and creators leverage their existing content so that you all don't have to be overwhelmed with always creating new stuff, but we can always utilize what is already in existence. Okay? So let's get straight into it. You can raise your digital hand. You can put a 1 in the chat as well if you struggle with content creation. Let me know. Got a couple ones going. Excellent. All right. The struggle can be real at times, and that is quite all right. We're going to get started with these 3 strategies. First one is going to be, I want you all to stop creating and I want you to start documenting. Stop creating, start documenting. A lot of times people think that they have to do all of this hoopla when it comes to creating their content and going overboard. Yes, there is a time and place for it, but a lot of us are service providers. A lot of us are creators. We have something to, either a product or service to give people, and what we do not do or fail to do is document our journey. Instead, we're thinking that we have to create all this amazing media, and a lot of times people just want to verify that you know what you're doing. All right, so stop creating, start documenting. Here's some of the things that I can tell you about that. Content doesn't always need to be planned or scripted. Okay, things that you can do when it comes down to it is you can frequently asked questions. So for somebody like Joy, or somebody like, I believe, Aisha, who helps with physical health and helping with fitness, there's a lot of questions that people ask you often, right? What should I wear? Or where should I go? How many reps should I do? Those frequently asked questions are things that you can document and create certain pieces of content for, to help you in that particular process, or to show people what they can do. And behind the scenes, as you can see, I have a few examples here. One of them is me at a conference recording some pre-content and it's showing people that I have a nice camera, that I can get my settings right, that people actually trust me to do the work. I have another one with me just getting to work, working with some of my business partners, having some lighting, being able to get things done. And a lot of times that documentation journey will just help verify that you are the person of interest, or the person that somebody or a company wants for the job. It helps to tell a story about your business, about what you can offer and what you bring to the table. All right? Does that make sense? Put a 1 in the chat if that makes sense. And if anybody has an example of something that they can document in their particular journey, go ahead and write that idea down. I want you all to get your juices flowing when it comes to documentation. All right, so stop creating, start documenting. There's a place for creating. Of course, there's always, you can make time for that, but documenting, packing up things, giving reps, whatever you do in your specific industry, you can always show what you're doing versus trying to go over top and creating all this other stuff. Things that you can continue to document. So customer testimonials and reviews. So you want to highlight your glowing customer feedback by sharing screenshots or creating posts that feature their kind words. You can ask people for feedback. You can get somebody on the spot if it's something that you're doing in person. You can take a screenshot of an email from somebody who was happy with that. That's all part of the documentation that you can share on your platforms. You want to share your wins and lessons. So you want to celebrate your milestones and share what you're learning with your followers to inspire and educate them. One of the examples that I use is me being able to learn how to do all these things with my particular technology, to be able to share it with you all. And these are things that I share either on my social channels or my YouTube, on the things that I have learned, or tips and tricks or better ways to be able to share information that helps people know that I can be a go-to person, or that I'm a person you can at least ask further questions to. And then you want to process demonstrations. You want to document your step-by-step process, then show the dedication and the care behind your products and service. This is not saying give them all the ingredients. This is saying you're showing a final product, the care that you take into packaging your things, the fact that whatever you're doing to prepare your workouts for other people or the things that you all do, you want to show the process behind it. A lot of times people get worried about giving their stuff away. Oh, I don't want to just share all of my information because somebody's going to copy me. I promise you, 9 times out of 10, that person is too ill-informed or lazy to be able to do all the stuff, even if you gave them the full recipe. How many of us have access to full-on information, and yet and still, we still rather pay somebody to feed us sometimes. We still rather pay somebody to do other things for us, even though we have the time, the energy, and the resources. There's something about somebody else doing something, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. All right, the second one is going to be repurpose, do not reinvent. Repurpose, don't reinvent. And what I mean by that is that you don't want to create once and just throw it away. Throw away all your efforts. You want to be able to create and use it multiple times. How many of you post something one time and it's one and done and it's never seen the light of day? Put a 1 in the chat if you're a person who's posted something once and it's just, that's it. You've washed your hands of it, right? So we want to start treating our content like a good piece of clothing. I don't know how much money you all have, right? But I'm not a person that can wear this particular top once and throw it away and never wear it again. You want to treat your content like a good piece of clothing. You wear it, you can wash it, you can hang it back up, and you bring it back out of the closet eventually to share or to wear once more. So these are the things, especially when you put so much effort into it. Now, I'm not saying post it the next day. But what I am saying is that it can make a reappearance 4, 6, 8 weeks, 3 months later to get back into the rotation and to help build your consistency without you fretting and worrying over having to post something brand new all the time. Okay? So stop being rich snobs with your content, right? And find different ways to be able to use it again. Now, other ways, if you don't want to post the exact same content, that's fine. You can change the format. And there's 4 basic formats that I use. And that's going to be, we'll talk about that in a minute, but it's going to be audio, video, written, images, and graphics, right? So if you have one well-performing or a piece of content that didn't perform as well, you can just change the format and share it in a different way. If it was a video, you can turn it into a carousel, so on and so forth. And then with this content, once it's released, you create a content bank. You say, okay, here is a time lapse that I put out. I'm going to put it in a folder in my phone so I can say this is something that I can use in a couple months just to put it back into play, share more information with my audience. And then it's the same thing, plan to repost content. In January, I'm going to repost an entire series again. So you all feel free to follow me on that. I'm going to repost an entire series that I did last December. So December 2023, I released a content repurposing series for 30 days straight. And January 2025, I'm running it all the way back again. And if somebody says something about it, I hope that they learned something else. So this is me planning to reuse it again because it's still valid and very informational things that are still relevant that people can utilize today. So instead of me racking my brain as to what I'm going to share in January, I'm going to use the content that I've already created, run it back, and just help people in that way once again, because a lot of times our niches do not change. The way that we present it or the knowledge that we gain, that is altered. So there is that. Repurpose, do not reinvent. Okay? So we're talking about the content formats a moment ago, and this is what I was saying. The content formats, video, audio, written, images, and graphics. Can you put the number of formats that you are currently using for your content in the chat? So if you're a person who's only doing one, just put a 1. If you have experimented with 2 or 3, just let me know. 3.5, sweet. 3.5. Can anybody put their favorite way to share or what you have leaned into the most? I know I'm very video heavy, but I realize the power of an image or a graphic or a carousel. So I challenge myself from time to be able to create those particular pieces of media inspired by what I've already done so that I can continue to share as much as I please, okay? So just keep those 4 different content formats in your head. You do not have to do all of them at the same time, but just always know you have a different way to pivot. And this just addresses the various learning styles that people have and options that you have. All right, so I'm going to share a recent project that I did. So I have a YouTube video that I released, and it was me talking about if I like project-based people projects over retainer-based clients. And what I did is I had the YouTube video, and then I took the YouTube video and I shared a LinkedIn newsletter. And after the LinkedIn newsletter, I took the same inspiration and made a carousel that I put on Instagram, and then took the carousel from Instagram and turned it into an email. So this is 4 different ways that I shared the same or very similar information to my audience in 4 different ways. And there's so much more potential, but that's what I took advantage of at the time. And so let's see what other options I had. The other options I had is, I think I did release it. So I took the same YouTube video and I made short form videos from it. So I made, I think, 3 or 4 different short form videos inspired by here. I can do an audiogram. I can take certain pieces of audio and put it to another video, or put it to a picture, or do a voiceover. I can create another website or a website blog. Maybe I can take similar information from the newsletter, put it on a website blog, and then I can do a quote or a graphic from something that I said. So here are 8 different content opportunities that I can utilize. I appreciate that I can utilize over time to be able to share as often as I want. The issue, once again, that I'm saying is that a lot of us create one piece of content, share it, and we're done. We don't take the time to actually extract other things or think about the other things that we can extract so that we can share it across different platforms if you choose to, or in just different ways so that you can do it more consistently. So repurpose, don't reinvent. I did not have to make 8 different videos to share all these 8 different perspectives that I had. I took one video and I have created maybe 7 different ways to be able to share that information. And a lot of it is video, audio, written, quotes, and graphics, okay? All right, next one, progress over perfection. Put a 2 in the chat if you're somebody who won't put something out because it doesn't look right or it doesn't feel right. Are you a person that's saying, nope, can't do it. I don't like the way that lighting is, or I don't like the way my hair or my eyebrow looks. We have some people, and sometimes myself, when it comes to things that we know, there's some things that we will not do because it's, nope, can't do it. I don't like the way this looks or that looks. Well, you got to honor the progress over the perfection. There's nothing like your audience or yourself or your family or your friends being able to see how you've been doing, to see the growth and the potential. And also, if we're being honest, this morning or this evening, your new followers are not going to go back and scroll 4 or 5 years to see when you sucked. Okay? They just got to get on the journey. And if they do, kudos to them. But I'm not scrolling back on any of y'all's profile, probably past maybe 4 or 5 different pieces of content, which is another reason why I also have to make sure that we share our information once more, because who's going to see it? Nobody's going to see it. No, we're not scrolling back that far. So when it comes to progress over perfection, we have to stop aiming for perfect content. Right? And we have to start focusing on the meaningful progress that we are making. When you share valuable information that people need, then what it looks like half the time doesn't even matter. When you solve a problem, when you are a solution to somebody's issue, right? Let's just say something's going on in your house with the plumbing. Are you looking for a plumber with an aesthetically pleasing timeline on Instagram? Are you looking for that perfect tagline? Are you looking for a person who's going to fix this toilet from running, or who's going to fix the sink from overflowing? A lot of times when you are the solution to somebody's problem, how it looks and how it comes across, especially if it's in a desperate time of need, is the least of their worries. They just need to know, do you know what you're doing? Do you have the right equipment to be able to get the job complete? Can you help me now? They pretty much want to know, what do we do for the next steps? So while we are all sitting on good content that can offer solutions and show our capabilities, somebody is missing the opportunity to connect with us because we are too scared to actually put it out there into the world. All right, so done is better than perfect, okay? You want to commit to how consistent you want to be and stick to that commitment. And we're going to discuss that. I have a PDF that I'm going to share with you all in a moment. But your consistency is up to you. You do not have to show up 7 days a week. You don't have to show up 5 times a week. All you need to do is show up as consistently as you want to, right? Consistency can look in a number of different ways. Consistency, like we have a new year coming up. There's a new year every 365 or 66 days. That's consistent. It's been that way since the test of time. Whatever consistent rate. Think about the different things that are consistent, but they run on a different time schedule or expectation. The best example I give is back in the day when we would watch television and we had our favorite shows that came on every Wednesday or Thursday at 7 p.m. The consistency was 12 weeks of these particular shows at this time, and those are the expectations that we had. So that is what I want to bring home when it comes to your consistency. I'm sending over a content strategy guide, and I'm going to hop on over to my iPad so that I can walk through it with you all. What we want to do with this strategy guide is plan out specifically how and when we want to show up online. What you're going to do is you are going to tell yourself what type of content do you want to post. Are you going to post a video, audio, written, or image? You do not have to commit to everything, but commit to something. So for me, I'm just going to short form it. I'm going to post a video, and I know I'm going to post a written and an image. So I want you just to get an idea of what you want to post, and then it will all make sense at the end. So go ahead and in this section, just tell me what type of content you're going to post. Go ahead and just say something that you are capable of making at this time, and we can work on building that skill up at a later time for other things that you want to explore. Next thing, I want you to say, how many times do you want to post per week? 1, 3, 5, 7. No pressure on this one. I know what the people say, but what can you commit to? Me, I post between 3 to 5 times. I'd rather you pick something concrete, but I know I'm going to post 3 no matter what. If it gets up to 5, hip, hip, hooray. What social media platforms are you going to post on? So go ahead and write that down. I'm going to show up on Instagram. I'm definitely going to show up on Facebook. I haven't fully committed to TikTok yet because I'm still trying to understand it for the most part. And I'm going to show up to YouTube. So Instagram be 3 times. Facebook will be 3 times. And actually, folks, LinkedIn, I'm showing up 7 times. YouTube is 1 time. So go ahead and write that down to extend so you can see your commitments. Okay. Now this here is so that you can make a schedule, because we're going to do that. What time? What time are you going to do that? For Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn. LinkedIn, I show up at 4:15 p.m. GST for me. YouTube is going to be Tuesdays at probably 10 a.m. Well, no, I wanted to, because I have to think in like different time zones. So it's probably going to be 6, 7, 8, 9, 7, like 6 p.m. my time here. So it would be like 10 a.m. in the States or vice versa. But I want you all to figure something out to agree to it. And Facebook and Instagram, they probably do another, maybe like a 10 a.m. here. All right. But this is just like people who have a job. You have times to be. I want you all to make your content responsible to you. Make your content do what you ask it to do. So having times and places and what you want to post is going to help you all hold yourself and your content accountable. All right. How much time per week do you have to create content? Now, whether you're saying 1 hour, whatever that is, that's completely fine. Because what I want you to do with that time is you'll know how many pieces of content that you need, for what days, and where it's going. So you get to narrow down what your expectation is so that you can say, oh, man, it didn't take me that long to make these quotes. So, now I can experiment with something else with the time that I have left. Or I can start creating content for future or for the next month with the time that I have left. So for the second page here, according to what you said from the first page, now we know what we want to put together. And here is where you're going to be able to see it all in one place. So for your short form videos, if you're showing up at least 3 to 5 times a week and you're saying, so you're showing up, okay, so for the sake of it, I'm going to take this 3 to 5, I'm going to take the 3 to 5 option out. I'm going to say 3, right? And now, because I said video, written, and image, I have 3 different types of content that I'm going to be creating. So let's say for the month, now I'm saying if this is a month view, I'm going to say short form videos. How many do I need? Typically, there's 4 weeks in a month. I need 4 videos, okay? I didn't say anything about audiograms, so we're not going to do that. I have carousels here, so maybe I'll do 2 carousels and 2 quotes, okay? And then I said that I wanted to do, I did a written one, and then I said an image one, okay? So I have that. So this is gonna represent my written, and then I'll have my graphics. I need 4 graphics, okay? So now I know what I need. So when I sit down for my content sessions, I can commit to saying, okay, let me bang out 2 videos. Or I can handle these 2 quotes and I can do these 2 carousels in one sitting with my hour. Or I can find 4 images, especially my photographers in here. It's like you got 1,000 different images. You pick 4 and you got the 4 images that you're going to post for the month if you're only posting these images 3 times a week. Okay? And then when it comes down to this bottom section, this is when you're going to say when I'm going to do it. So if I'm posting 3 times a week, a lot of times what I take is I do the traditional Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And instead of me just saying these are the days, I can even go to say, put a signal like these are the days I'm going to post. But then also I can say what is going to be posted. So I'm going to start off my Mondays with, they're going to be videos. This one is going to be carousels, or it's going to be a quote. And then this one here is going to be an image or a graphic. Now I know what goes where, right? So you got the what goes where, followed by the time that you said. So you can go back and add the times on there to say, okay, cool, my videos are going to get posted at, I know it's going to be at 10 a.m. Okay, and even if you have a different one, I said even my YouTube videos, so if you're cross-platforming here, my YouTube videos, I say YouTube videos will get posted here at 6 p.m. Okay, is there another, and then my LinkedIn, I could pick a different color and know that my LinkedIn is going to get posted every day at the same time. I'm a very visual person, so y'all gotta do whatever works for you. But I want you to be able to see and verbalize what you all are committing to, so that you can actually hold yourself accountable. So let me see, because I'll be able to read that. I said Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn. All right, so I can look at the schedule and say, okay, cool. I have LinkedIn posts that are going out every single day. I do videos on Monday. YouTube video goes out on Tuesdays. A carousel or a quote goes out on Wednesdays. And an image or graphic goes out on Fridays. Now I can say there's 4 weeks in a month. Sit down and bulk create all those particular things and schedule it out. I use a scheduler called Metricool, but at least I know what I want, so I'm not scrambling when it's time for me to create. Let me know if this is making sense in the chat. Send me an emoji, give me a 1, whatever. This complements the content calendar I'm trying. Yeah, and I don't want to say that it's a simple thing, but it's something that we do in life. I think we just don't associate it with content. I think that we have different places in our lives where things have made sense, and we just have yet to shift our mindset to say, if I can show up for work every day at this particular time and do my tasks the way that I've been asked and know that in exchange I get a paycheck. Yes, another mindset shift is if I do this content and I show up consistently for this particular time, the goals that I want to have is I want to show up to build my brand awareness for my audience. I want to be able to connect and network with other people, and I eventually want to land a brand deal. But you have to do the work. But in order to reach the goals, you have to know what you want so you can commit to it fully. And yeah, I hope that schedule at least gives you an idea of what is possible. And if you have access to my content repurposing blueprint, I have over 30 tutorials in there where you can literally learn how to create the materials that you have assigned to yourself so that you can do what you need to do. So if you don't have that, you can DM me the word toolkit. DM me the word toolkit on Instagram and get access to that toolkit that has the Repurposing Masterclass, an ebook, and all these other things. There comes a time and place where we have to not rely on motivation in order to do the things that we need to do. When it comes to setting goals and needing things to get done, we can't rely on our motivation, because there's been plenty of times that I wasn't motivated to go to my job, but I needed the paycheck, right? I needed to pay my rent. So even if your motivation is something that is not like sexy, you still need to find a way to do it, because at the end of the day, especially if it's tied to your income and your well-being or your financial well-being, you got to get it done. A great example is one of my highest paying clients found me online from a reel that I posted that I didn't even technically post on my personal brand page. I posted it on my business page. He saw it and found me, and we've been working together for over 2 years now. So if I was looking for motivation to post that, I wouldn't have landed this particular client that has done great by me. So I think that that's why I like schedules, so that you can commit to a schedule that is not overwhelming for you, so that you can just stay on schedule, right? We don't want to cook, but we got to eat every day. So make it something that is, I have to do this or else type deal. So that's a long story short, you never know what can come out of your consistency. So I would rather you be consistent than motivated.
Ooh, I like that. I needed to hear that.
Hey,
Yeah, thanks so much for putting this together. I actually do repurposing for clients, and I haven't found my voice yet. And I guess I like to work from behind the scenes. So I'm just wondering, how do I go about creating this content and putting myself out there? You know what I mean? Because I'm an introvert. I don't know.
okay, sweet. When it comes down to it, the great thing about repurposing, especially if you're doing it for content, is that you don't necessarily need your voice. You need to show your capabilities, right? So you need to show what you can do for a particular client. So because I repurpose, I share from my own stuff what I'm doing and how I'm repurposing it. So you can take other examples of content that you've repurposed and showcase the various ways that you can extract content from it. So for instance, I have another client, and I take existing media that's already been done, former workshops, books, Zoom calls, anything that has already in existence, and I'll take it and I go through my particular process to find the gems that are needed, and I turn it over, and I'm able to recreate in the different formats and share it back with them, and they're like, oh wow, this is really good. I'm just like, you said it, you did it. I just put it somewhere in a format that you can post it so that you can be as consistent as you need to be. So when it comes to finding your own voice, I would make sure that included in that voice is the solutions that you have, the problems that you solve, because you're solving a problem. The clients that I have either don't have the time or the patience to create their content. They only want the results. They want to show up as many times a week as we have agreed to, and they give me access to things that I can find, and it's like a treasure hunt. But I can deliver that promise. I can deliver on my message. Start with what your promise is. Start with the solution to a problem. So poke at the problem for people and position yourself as the solution. And then eventually you'll find that sweet spot to where you're comfortable being able to represent yourself in a way. I hope that was a decent answer, but I would just say find the problem first and then position yourself as a solution in terms of like your voice.
Okay. Oh, that's very helpful. Does that mean I have to take permission from my clients? Like, I want to use clip from what I'm doing for them to showcase what I'm able to do, something along those lines.
If your clients are fine with you showcasing their stuff on your page, that's great. Or you can do like case studies, so where you can just take random stuff offline and just be like, this is how I would do it. So if your clients are cool with it, that's one way. I don't necessarily I might do some things on my business page, but as far as Abby Teaching Afar, my personal brand, I don't use any of my client stuff on there. I rather just use my own stuff, or I'll take case studies and things that I see online from other people and be able to highlight that. I don't know, I don't like people out of my business when it comes to where I make my money.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. So we have, is it Michelle, I believe? Regarding the motivation, as cliche as it sounds, think of why you're doing it. Yep. Think of why you're doing what you do. Absolutely. I'm going to answer this question and then we're going to go to Sarah. My military husband says, it's not motivation you need, it's discipline. Don't rely on your emotions. Yes. Do it for the people you want to serve. Absolutely. Sarah, what's going on?
So, two things. Thank you for the content planner. I've struggled with that as well over the past little while. So, it's nice to see everything visually, and I've realized I need to be organized. But also to add to, I think her name was Ashioma's question or thing about being seen and not really having your face present. One thing I just wanted to mention is I find LinkedIn super helpful for that because you can really just comment on other people's work or just add your opinion. There's so many aspects where you can add your opinion, and the more you comment and share your thoughts on other work that's out there, I feel my network has grown so much, and I've gotten a lot of traction just from not even posting at first, just sharing my opinion on other things. And then people start to recognize that you actually know what you're doing. So when you do start posting, now you've built like a foundation because they start to trust you. So I would really advise anybody who's wanting to gain that, I guess, that initial group of people to know who you are and build your network. I would start going on LinkedIn and commenting in any field that you're in because it builds trust.
That was a wonderful suggestion. And also, with everything that you comment on, make sure you take notes or document, right? Document what the question was and what you were actually suggesting or what you were commenting, because you can use that for content as well. Use that for content. You can turn that into a carousel. You can turn it into a script for a video. You can turn it into an email. You can turn it into a blog. So a lot of times I like going back and looking at the things that I'm commenting on as well, because it's added layer of value. It's another thing that you can expound on. You can make a long form video about it. You can do a podcast, but from the things that pique our interest, or you want to make sure you're paying attention to why did this question get your attention? What was a topic that you were interested in? Did anybody comment on what you said? And take note of those particular things, because that can be an indicator as to what you can continue to share as you continue to space out your information. So I love to tell people to repurpose content, but a lot of times, especially on LinkedIn as well, if I'm inspired, I'll move things around. Like, I'll even show you all before we wrap up. I use this tool called Metricool, and yesterday, I went to a Zumba class, and it was a class where I just got thrown into the fire and didn't know any of the steps, and nobody cared. As I was observing in my haste, I saw other people didn't care how they looked either. So it was relieving. I was just like, okay, this is awesome. We're all a bit in here. Some people are really good and some people are just as not awesome as me. That gave me the freedom to just get over myself. And that's a lesson that I would put together and share on LinkedIn. Right? Pull this up here. You all let me know if you can see my screen. Awesome. Okay, so this is Metricool. It's an awesome tool that I can create lots of stuff in. You can see my analytics, blah, 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 right? But here's the planning piece that I like the best. And I've pretty much scheduled out all of my content for this week in general. So I've completed my particular commitment. I don't know why that's in the way. But I'm going to add my Zumba example here to be able to share. But this is the way that you catch a rhythm. This is called Metricool. I'll email and send this to you. I'll actually put it in the chat. But this is how I get my motivation. I know I'm covered for the week. That gives me a little bit of rest. I don't have any anxious thoughts when it comes down to it. And when I get creativity, or when I get an idea or have an experience, I can come in here and I can either move things around if I want to, or I can go ahead and just set it up. So I'll probably type tonight or tomorrow my Zumba experience and be able to share it that way. And now I know it's there. And then I can just grab the analytics when the time is needed. So let me go ahead and grab that link for you all to take a look at that. And it's been really helpful. I actually manage a few clients on that platform as well to get their stuff out. So I've enjoyed it a lot. Okay, sorry, let me ask the question. Here we go. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Okay, so what was I going to ask? Excellent. How do you share the FAQs? You can share the FAQs however you like. So you can make FAQ videos, you can make FAQ carousels, you can make FAQ quotes, you can do a long form video on YouTube or TikTok or whatever you do. So if I get a question, there was a question there. What platform is this? I could make a video to say, hey, my favorite scheduling and social media management tool is Metricool. And the reason why is because it gives great analytics. It also allows me to manage my inbox and be able to plan into the future for multiple platforms. So I can do YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. I can do Twitter. I can do a website blog. All these awesome things and integrations that they have allow me to manage my content in one seamless platform, and that helps me manage not only myself but my clients. So that's an FAQ that I can have. So when people come to me in the future, hey Abby, how do you manage your stuff? I can find that video, send that to them, or I can have it on my website. What's the best protein powder that I need to use? Or do I need to use protein when working out? How do I get protein as a vegetarian? My biggest problem. So you think of everything that people ask so much and you create content around it. So it can be a video, it can be an audio or a voiceover, it can be a written piece of content, it can be an image or a graphic, those particular things. And you can answer the question more than once, because people don't listen. People don't listen. That's why I like all these content formats. And the reason why is because I'm a former traditional educator. I had to tell my kids things so many times in so many different ways for them to almost get it. Some people got it sooner than others, and other people did not. But that's why I get the reps in and being able to share the same information in different ways to get the results that I want. I appreciate you all coming on. I'm happy to answer any other questions that you all might have before the hour time's out. But yes, this was just something I wanted to go ahead and get together and do for you all so that I can encourage you to start now. You don't have to wait until the new year. You don't have to do these things at a later date. This is something that you can do today, and you can have your content for January already planned out and ready to go in the next 2 days. And then what that gives you is a time and space to have fun in January, to do trending things instead of working from behind. But Joy, imagine if you took a little time over the next 2 days to at least get this plan together, and you say, oh, cool. If I'm going to post pictures, if I'm going to do Throwback Thursdays, at least I have those and the captions already done. So I know I'm showing up at this time in this place for this particular time period. And then it just gives you some breathing room. And you can go and observe and work on other things that might be a bigger hassle sometimes. Because our IG stories are 24 hours. Is it okay to if you have a story that does well, and either you can go and recreate it if you want to and post it as a reel. Stories is a great way to see if your audience is actually tracking the information. So I've gotten some decent traction over the past couple of days in my stories, but that's a great way to see if your audience is actually engaged and interested in what you're saying. And why not? So yes, if you get a story that's doing some numbers, yes, throw it in the reels and share it again, because that gives you the opportunity to catch people who are non-followers, right? So people who see your stories are followers for the most part, followers. And then when you put it as a reel, you get the opportunity to be shared with other people who are non-followers, right?
Like tracking data. Who reached out? How did my reel perform? Which reel performed better? Which content performed better? So I put out that, I watch them, I see the reach, I see the impressions, but going back to reassess or analyze, that's a challenge for me. Because I think to know which content worked best to keep doing that, you have to be able to be going back.
Okay, so You are the person who is perfect for this problem because you work out, right? So you have the discipline. You just have to transfer it to somewhere else. So just like, hey, if I don't do this is going to happen in my workout journey, you need to go and set the time to go and review your analytics so that you can see. And it's not necessarily what's always doing well. It can be what you feel that should have done well that just didn't get an opportunity to shine. And you're saying, I'm going to put this back in the mix because this was good information. So for you, just like we Jay said earlier, what her husband shared, it ain't motivation, it's the discipline. So just like you need X amount of protein or you need to do X amount of sets in order to get these particular results, understand that you need to review your analytics in order to get the information that you need so that you can continue to understand what your audience wants and needs to get the growth that you desire. I'm not promising nobody 10,000 followers. Only thing I'm promising is consistency. That's it. I'm saying that you can do this with the stuff that you've already posted. And, Notion. I'm going to have to check that out. But yeah, even Metricool, awesome analytics. And you can just see. But it's having a mindset. This content is going to continue to do what I need it to do for me.
Your media?
Pardon?
Do you automate it to your social media, like it just gets the data directly, or do you have to input the data yourself?
Oh no! As soon as you connect all of your platforms, it has an interface. Here, I'll show it to you. Really quick. I'm here in the analytics tab, and it's showing. I can choose the dates that I want to see. Last week, yesterday, 30 days, or I can customize it, and you can see where people are watching from. You can see how things went. My pictures did pretty good last week. You can see the impressions that you got, right? So this is just a good way to go and see what people are doing or saying and just to keep it in mind. Fill out those forms, print them out, put them up on your wall somewhere, and I want you all to shoot me a picture or something like that. Put on your stories and what you're committing to for this next year or for this next 2 days and then the rest of the year. But you got this, like it's no problem. From N. Walters. I haven't been on my business social since March 2024. I changed my business name, logo, and haven't had a chance to get back on it. Do you recommend just posting and sharing stories and being consistent? I feel like I'll be back on everyone's feeds and I won't be seen. No, just post. Don't worry about all the other stuff. Just show up. Show up for your audience. You can post to the stories. You can post on your profile. Don't get into the weeds about what you have or you haven't done. Commit to your new schedule. You can even let your people know in the stories like, hey, I know I haven't been around. Let me reintroduce myself. And you can set expectations for your audience. I know I show up a lot better when I know people are going to be around. So you can set the expectations, share with your audience, and allow them to help you, hold you accountable. But do not worry about what you haven't done. Only worry about what you will do and commit to that. So what will you do? I will be showing up 3 times a week, if not more, because I told you once you all have that commitment there and you start to, especially when you start repurposing your content, that you can blow that out of the water and show up every day if you want to. But then once you start doing what you have to do and you're saying, oh, I got 3 months of content already ready to go. Let me start having fun by doing other things like going live or doing a trend or what have you. It's up to you. So we have it's a dome light up here. It's a ML60 or something like that. That is lighting me. And this is a Elgato, like cam link thing that is connected to my Canon M50. And everything is connected through eCam and going over to you through Zoom. Yeah, it is a teleprompter, but I use it more for a third camera or a third screen so that I can look into your soul when I'm talking to you all. So yeah, there's a teleprompter, and I'm getting better at doing teleprompter stuff, but this is a third monitor screen that has the see-through aspect so I can look directly at the camera when I'm talking. It is, but it's a part of, like I told you all earlier, sometimes when you learn some things, you can't go back and do it other ways, or you can make other things happen, but yeah, you can hold yourself more accountable. But yes, please, if it's been helpful, please do me a favor and Share it on your stories. Let people know that they need to get on the good foot, because I'm hoping to do this more often next year. Just share more information and help other people. If you're not in the Facebook group, hop in the Facebook group. But thank you for joining. I appreciate you all, and I'll see you next time.